Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Jerry McGuire, founder of STARS, and I'm the host of our STARS podcast, STARS Speak, understanding the science of stuttering, where voices are heard, understanding of stuttering grows, and awareness moves forward. Each episode features unscripted, honest conversations with researchers, clinicians, and individuals dedicated to advancing the science, treatment, and understanding of stuttering, a field that deserves greater attention, collaboration, and research. Today, it's my great honor to welcome to our podcast Dr. Pierpaolo Busan. And Dr. Busan, I'd like to say that STARS, or Study Treatment and Research Society, we're a society of people who stutter, for people who stutter. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in stuttering research and what you do.
Yes, so thank you very much, Gerald, for this possibility. I'm very happy to be with you now for this podcast. I'm very, very proud to be part of the STARS, this new society that I know that will be very important for the science related to stuttering, also in order to have a better research for stuttering. So I am a psychologist. I have a training in the field of neuroscience, neuropsychology. I had a PhD in the field of neuroscience. Okay, I work in Italy. Okay, and I started to research in stuttering because I am a person who stuttered, and so for this reason, since the start of my pathway in psychology, I try to better understand what is happening in the stuttering brain, and I'm working on stuttering since 2010, something similar. And I had the possibility to develop this line in research because my head was very, very happy for giving me this possibility to develop this line. And I was the head of a specific stuttering and speech therapy lab in Venice. San Camillo Hospital in Venice. Now I am a researcher in the University of Trieste. That is my town also. So I was able to be back in working it out. And now I am trying to rebuild, the lab that I had in Venice, stuttering speech therapy lab, also trying to have new funding for my new research in the neurophysiological aspect of stuttering.
Yeah, that's great. So you've got this personal motivation as a person who
Yes,
stutters.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And as you go through this, you said that people were the senior researchers, because we all begin as junior researchers or junior clinicians. And when you say they were happy to support you in this, right? To go down this line, to look into stuttering, correct? They were supportive of it.
Yes. In fact, I started to work in this specific field because there was a specific thing that it was very, very strange for me, in the sense that I was able to speak very well with no one in front of me, okay? But it was very difficult for me to speak well when I was speaking to someone or in a specific situation that could be related to higher activation, for example, for an exam or something similar, okay? And this was very strange for me because since childhood, I was not able to understand why, okay? I was able to understand since childhood that it was not only related to anxiety or not specifically related to anxiety, but I was able to see that there was something during my training part in psychology that there was something in the brain that was not correctly work. Okay. And for this reason, I tried from the start of my training path to develop a specific my research line from this point of view on this try to better understand what is really happening in the stuttering brain.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
I had a similar experience. I'm a little older than you, right? But a similar experience with me, which was I could talk to my dog, but I go in front of a class and it's difficult. Or I remember in mass as a little boy saying prayers out loud and being fluent. But then when I'd speak alone, having those challenges. So my thought was there's something in here. Right?
Yes, what is happening? Why? And
Why?
this was very strange for me because it was very really it was in one moment I was very good very good to say something. The other moment in front of someone, I was not able to say anything. For example, my name was the worst thing usually, okay, but also the most simple, okay. And this situation was very particular, and I had this strong motivation try to understand what is really happening in the stuttering brain, and this was the start of my journey. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, to solve that, to figure that out. And so you said, even as now or at some point early in your career, or even maybe not even before your training, you said it wasn't just anxiety. Is that correct? Did I hear you say that?
Yes, I was really able to understand this really before um, uh, really before science, okay? Because yes, also the particular pathway in psychology that I made was related to this this particular situation. No, I decided to study psychology because I was a, a, with stuttering. Okay, I was a person who stuttered, and so I decided to make make psychology um, for this reason. But during the because we had a particular pathway in the functioning of the central the, the central nervous system. Okay, at the second third year of the university, okay, there was a professor that was giving us a lesson about the functioning of the brain, neurophysiology, that he was a person who stuttered also. Okay, and he was my preferred professor during this uh, um, this particular program. And I also had the possibility to ask him something more specific about what he was thinking about stuttering, why stuttering is present, how the brain is working. And so I was able to combine all this information, okay, and very early, I was able to understand that stuttering is in the brain. It's not only related, no, it's not related to anxiety. It's not only related to anxiety. Anxiety make the things worse, okay, but it's not anxiety, okay. So starting from this specific point, from this very strong point of my my path, I was able to decide in that specific moment that my future was my future was studying stuttering and neurophysiology related to stuttering. So 2 years I was able to complete the program. I started with PhD. I decided to go deeper in the neurophysiology and stuttering and so on. And now we are here
Yeah,
trying to better understand
that's
what
right.
is.
Yeah. So you and I had similar paths. You went to the PhD route in psychology. I go the MD route in psychiatry, and with a similar mission, I think,
Yes, the
as a
similar
person with stuttering.
mission, but
Yeah.
also we noted that also in science, the very very high percentage of people that are working on stuttering are
Hmm.
people who stutter.
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that 90% of people that are working in science about stuttering are really people who stutter, and because stuttering is more than stuttering at the end.
That's right.
Is not only you are seeing in the moment of stuttering, but it is a really deeper situation
Hmm.
related also to your life, to your emotion, to your anxiety, to and so it is so complex
Hmm.
that is a normal consequence that people that are working on stutter usually are people who stutter.
I see. Thank you for sharing that. So when you say you've got this brain physiology, but then there's so much more to the person affected by stuttering potentially. Correct? Would you
Yes,
say? Yeah.
it is a complex situation, no? In the sense that we we start okay from a possible genetic situation, from a situation that are working with a with particular neurodevelopmental situation that are maybe working on your nervous system and so on. No, and so there is sure some basically I don't know how to say dysfunction, not good functioning in the motor system. Okay, but this not good synchronization in the motor system at the end it's so complex. Okay, that is working with other aspects that are the fact that you know that you will stutter on that specific word, the situation of the anxiety that you develop because you are stuttering on a specific situation, and so on. And so, year by year, disfluency by disfluency, the situation will be more complex than the only dysfunction, for example, in the motor timing network, because now we know the stuttering is basically related to something that is not working well at the motor timing network, neural network, and it could be the first thing that we can see in the stuttering brain that is not working in a perfect way. Okay.
I see. Right. So as you look at this, right, as we as scientists and as
Yes. Yes.
we're also
Yes.
in a field that's clinical too, because you're in psychology, I'm in medicine, right? Sometimes we say, okay, so we believe there's this developmental, if I say the term, lack of functioning or a disturbance, say in the firing. Um, the question may always arise. I know it has in your mind and it has in mine. What do we do about it? How can we help the millions of other people around this world who
Eh,
stutter? Yeah. Have you thought like what is so you well, first of all, what are you looking at to do this? I know you're looking at this, but what do we do about that? Right?
Uh, First of all, I will try to better explain what we are doing, okay, what we are
Okay, perfect.
looking
Please,
at,
thank you.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And my path started from a very motor point of view,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah.
And I started about 15 years ago, something more, and I was really focused on the motor system because, as I said, I was really I really had the vision that the motor system was a very strong part of the problem. Okay, we know that effectively this is true. Okay, so in the different in the research pathway, I was able to start from studying the motor system um, with instruments like, for example, magnetic stimulation of the brain in order to understand the excitability of the motor system. And we were able to see that effectively the stuttering people has lower excitability with respect to the fluent speakers in the motor speech network. Okay, that could explain something. Okay, but it is not only related to this because the situation, as we said, is more complex because we have circuits in the brain that are exchanging information, that are trying to go over the disfluency in some manner, sometimes in a good way, some other times in a maladaptive way. And so in our studies, we were able to see by recording the activity of the brain, okay, also using magnetic stimulation, that effectively the stuttering, the some specific neural circuits that are related to speech, but not only specific to speech, are not well synchronized in the stuttering brain. Okay, and we also saw that there is no need to speak for seeing this. Okay, this lower synchronization, uh, this delay in neural activation in the brain of people who stutter could effectively bring to a situation in which could be a little bit more difficult for a stuttering brain to synchronize. Okay, and for this reason could be the reason for this fluency. Okay, but again, this is and we were able to see that maybe one cortical hub is the supplementary motor region, one specific region that is involved, that is trying to um, to manage all these neural signal in order to make the brain work well. But now we are working on a research pathway in which we know that there are not only the motor aspect in stuttering, because as we said also the prefrontal cortex that is related, for example, to the management of the behavior, the context of the decision related to behavior, speak, don't speak, how to manage this particular disfluency or not, how to block, trying to block this disfluency and so on, as a strong part. So in this moment, we are working on a specific neural network vision, okay, in order to better understand how this specific neural network are speaking between them and how they are exchanging information.
They do. Yeah. And so
But
yeah, please go ahead. Yeah,
for
please.
this reason, what can we do?
Right.
Uh, we were able some years ago to be funded from the health minister in Italy for a neuromodulation clinical trial, okay, in which we tried to combine all this information, specifically from a motor point of view, and using neuromodulation, so the brain stimulation with electrical, very low, uh, very low current, okay, electrical current. In the specific random noise stimulation is the name of the protocol, and stimulating the supplementary motor region during speech therapy, during classical speech therapy, in order to see if effectively what we were able to see during our experiment could be useful also for improving outcome of speech therapy. Now we completed the clinical trial, and we completed a recordings, and we are working on the data, trying to finish to see the data that we were able to record. And we are seeing that effectively in the neuromodulation was able to obtain a significant improvement in fluency with respect to the classical speech therapy only.
Interesting. Yeah.
So
So in other words, the modulation with the therapy was better than the therapy alone. Correct?
it was significantly better in the sense that
Yeah.
we had a significant improvement with respect to classical speech therapy. Also, a little bit more longer in time with respect to speech therapy, because a problem with speech therapy that sometimes you are not so able to maintain the the good result that you were able
Yes.
to obtain during the speech therapy. And but especially working on a neural network point of view, we are able to see from the first data that we are seeing now that there is a completely different neuroplasticity from speech therapy only and speech therapy with neuromodulation.
I see. And when you define neuroplasticity, are you talking about seeing differences in the activity, right? Are you seeing,
Yes,
yes. Okay.
the
So that's how
difference
you
in the,
define that. Right.
yes. For example, we are working on the EEG. Okay, we recorded the EEG data, and we are seeing that, for example, in the speech therapy only condition, are data that we are finishing to see, so they are very fresh. We hope that we will be able to publish. And in the speech therapy only condition, we see an improvement in the motor speech network, in the sensory motor network related to speech. Like, for example, because there is more level, the the effort is higher in people in this case in the group that is doing only speech therapy. Okay, in the group that is doing also neuromodulation with speech therapy, okay, we see that the change is in the brain area related to the predictive task that this brain is doing for managing sensory motor cues and in managing the motor timing of speech. Okay, for example, not only related to the classical motor network, but also, for example, in parietal region or regions that are not specifically related to speech motor networks. And this means, in our vision, that effectively stuttering could be more complex, also from a neural point of view, because you need, as we said before, a lot of neural networks that have to exchange information between them in order mm, to have a good manage, okay, of the speech plane that is not only
That's right.
motor.
That's right. And so I want to bring that back because earlier you said stuttering is more complex than just motor, and it's not anxiety. And what you have shown, what your research is showing, is that combining, say, a biological intervention, or let's say a neuroscience-based intervention, say that's brain stimulation, magnetic stimulation, with the talk therapy, the speech therapy, was more effective than the talk therapy alone. And I would likely believe that just brain stimulation without speech therapy, you
It's
probably didn't
not,
test that. Yeah, is not as good
it's
as
not working.
it doesn't work. There you go. So, and this is the same pattern we have seen throughout the rest of neuroscience-based interdisciplinary interventions, if I may say, that the
Yes.
talk therapy, say for depression, combined with stimulation or medications, is better than either alone. Am I correct?
Yes,
That's what
because
we've shown. Yeah, yeah.
yes, because you are specifically stimulating some brain network that are you are trying that moment with stimulation alone. For for example, this is only related to our experience. It is not strongly scientific, but only what we were able to see. For example, some people that was part of our clinical trial was not so able to follow the speech therapy, okay, because they was not so good in using the techniques. They don't want to use the techniques because uh, they seem a little bit strange to them. Okay, so they preferred from a point of view to stutter. Okay, in that case, stimulation was not reinforcing the the outcome of the speech therapy, but it was like that stimulation was reinforcing maladaptive networks related to stuttering.
Oh, it's making it, if they were negative with that.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
For this
Okay.
reason, stimulation alone, if you use only stimulation with no speech therapy, could be not a good solution because you need to create good neuroplasticity in the good network that are using for creating adaptive neuroplasticity to overcome
Right.
this fluency.
That's right.
Okay.
There's some, yeah, and there's some work that we've done as well looking, this is all anecdotal. We need more
Yes,
controlled data
this
with
is
this. And for
absolutely
me, and for
anecdotal.
me as well,
Yes.
too. I have individuals who have had negative outcomes, say with speech therapy in childhood, and say, I don't want that. But if, say, through medications, we're able to get through that little fear, that negative thought, and then approach it and then combining, we can sometimes see. And we see that also parallels in panic disorder, PTSD, um, obsessive compulsive disorder, others, that we get them through that little hump biologically, may I say, and then hopefully the rest of the interventions can work.
But in fact, this is also a
Yep.
work that we wrote a couple of
Good.
years ago no,
Yep. Yep.
about the potential of new drugs, like for example psychedelics.
That's right. Yes.
Uh,
You and I, yeah, we worked together with a great team on that. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm very curious about this new perspective because it could make the same work with maybe also in a more simple way, no?
It is. And may I say, the idea of the neuroplasticity with, say, a psychedelic therapy, be that a psilocybin derivative
Mm.
or others, be able to form those connections. But it has to, we have to have that correct therapeutic intervention at the time. And be that a form of a speech therapy, could it also be a form of psychotherapy?
Yes, in
Right?
fact.
It could be, because many people, and that's why I think we have to, moving ahead, understand what subtype of stuttering we may be dealing with. I'll ask you this: there's some individual, right? Individuals may have a developed such significant avoidances and traumas and negative thought processes about their stuttering. We may have to rework that. As you said, it's very complex. So we have to identify, right, what regions we want to, let's say, rewire or wire correctly. Am I saying that right? Versus others, that it may be different from person to person. Do you think I'm correct in that assumption, Pierpaolo? You think? Would I be correct in that assumption that it may be different from person to person what strategy we
Yes,
use?
yes, yes, but in fact, I was thinking about this that there is also in the sense that now that we have a little bit understand a little bit more what is happening at the motor level. Okay, it is quite clear that it is a basal ganglia problem related with the motor region and so on. Now we should need to translate. Okay, this could be good for us for therapy. Okay, but we already know that maybe, as we said, only the motor aspects are not sufficient because, as you said, there are also all a series of behavioral aspects that are working with the motor aspects. Okay, that are quite important, in maybe maybe at the same level of the motor aspect, no? Because if this will be not, we could be able to speak quite well in every situation. Not if you are in front of someone, we are not so able to speak. Okay, and for this reason, okay, I think that. But there are some research group, like for example, the group of the Professor Jackson in New York that is working on the anticipation of stuttering, try to better understand this aspect. And we could try to combine all for this information for improving protocols, improving also, for example, protocols of neuromodulation, surely, to better understand what these protocols are doing, not only at the motor level, okay, and last but not least, it could be also a good starting point, for example, for psychedelics, because psychedelics are working at this level, right? Okay, on the default network, on the cingulate cortex, that are all the reasons that are really involved in all the behavioral, social, as we can say, aspect of stuttering, and then related to this motor aspect of stuttering. This is what also we will try to do in the next years of research of our group. In fact, we will try to translate this, like for example, in something like like for example neurofeedback, in which is the patient that will be able to modulate by himself, okay, is brain functioning in order to obtain a brain functioning level that will allow him to manage, okay, this fluency. This is the last objective of my pattern of my career. Okay.
It's going to evolve. You're a young man. It's going to
Yes,
continue
yes,
to
yes.
evolve.
But
It's going to continue.
this is the target, okay? That
That
will be
target, but
very
but
long.
then though, like
Yes.
we like to say, you'll have moving targets, or
Uh,
in American football, we'd say we move the goalposts. For you, I guess the football or the soccer nets will grow. The field's
yes,
going to
yes,
grow
yes,
for
yes,
you
yes.
in Italy,
And
right?
this
Yeah,
is what we will try to do in the next years.
yeah,
And but try to understand better at the network level what is happening, not only or not specifically at the motor level, but also in these complex
yeah.
social behavioral networks in interaction with the motor aspects.
Great, thank you. But that's your vision, and you're working toward it. I'm glad that you have it. You have the passion, you have the knowledge, and that's what's key. I appreciate that in you. As we have people listening today, and what would be your message to the greater, let's say first, the greater medical and scientific community? What would you like them to know about stuttering? People who don't know stuttering, let's say, but what would you like them to know about stuttering? What's the message you'd like them to know from what we discussed today?
Yes, I think that one very important need that we have now in the stuttering community,
Yep.
not only scientific related, but in the very large stuttering community, is that we should need to make science the knowledge that we had with science should be more easily uh, more easily reachable. Okay, is it right? for the stuttering community. Okay? Because what I see is that the people that are not really involved in science with stuttering, okay, sometimes they don't know that, for example, stuttering has a strong neurological basis, okay, and as a consequence, when you understand what it is happening at the neurological level, that in the sense that you are blocking for a specific reason, okay, it can be more easy, okay, to have some you use, for example, some specific tricks, I don't know how to say, in order to manage better, okay, this fluency.
I'd like to say, and I believe we have the same mission here, is if we understand that this is brain-based, that what's going on for us is brain-based, the blame and the shame we may have in ourselves is less by
Yes,
the scientific community
I agree.
understanding
I
and let
agree.
the scientific community, right? It's not anxiety. People were
No,
taught us, hey, just slow down as a kid. We tried to do that. We tried to do that. It didn't help. That's why you're here today. That's why I'm here today. But then,
yes,
yes, right.
I completely
Yeah,
agree because
yeah.
when you are able to understand this, automatically all the negative feelings, also the anxiety is lower, okay, and automatically you can manage better the fluencies. At the same level, when you understand what is the the reason, for example, for this fluency or for blocks, okay, you can also better understand that, for example, when you are in a block, it's not a good solution to make more effort because it is natural. For me, what was natural, I'm blocking more effort. I'm blocking more speed. Now you are doing this is the worst solution because this is going in the opposite direction of the correct functioning of our neural system. We are make this fluency worse in this way. And when people who started are able to understand this, it is more easy for them to understand why they should go slower, they should go lighter with less effort. And it could be also more easy to apply to manage this speech therapy. Okay.
And maybe we give a biologic intervention to help the talk
In
therapy work
fact,
better.
it would be
Yes.
more easy to be musical in language speaking, and you understand why it is working, not only applying because someone is is saying this to you. Okay, but I think that we should communicate a lot research findings and explain research findings to the stuttering community in order to really explain what is happening in the stuttering brain. This could be the first point for therapy.
That's right. And that's our goal of STARS. That's our goal of our STARS Speak
In
podcast.
fact,
Yes. And
we
I
are
thank you
here
for
for this.
you are here for this. We spoke about this for some time, and fortunately, we've been able to get this nonprofit going, and we're just over a year old. Thank you for being a member of our
Thank you to you for
committee.
this possibility, Gerald. I'm very proud of this.
And we're going to keep going. We're going to go. We're getting other people. It's going to take a village, but our village is going to grow, meaning there's part of our that's increased awareness among the greater medical and scientific community, such that the science grows and individuals who stutter receive better health care worldwide. I think that would be a goal, right? For us to do. And to have their understanding better.
Yes. We have a lot of work to do.
We do.
But it is a good thing at the end.
It is.
Right.
And I also want to, every now and then I get communications through our website. Like, hey, can I become a doctor? Can I become an MD, a PhD because I stutter? To every person out there, if you're a young person and you're wanting, please pursue that. If you have an interest in this, do this because we need them.
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah,
It's going to
absolutely.
take that passion.
In fact, yes, we should need that. We also need to we need to give the message, okay, that at the end, stuttering will not block your training path, your growth, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can be everything you want to be, and stuttering will not define who you will be and can be.
Yes. So thank you
Thank you,
so
Gianna.
much for that, Pierpaolo. I want to thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. I look forward to us getting together in person again soon. I hope so. Thank you. I want to, I want to refer everyone to the podcast and also to our website. Dr. Busan, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll have you back, please. Got to get you in person too. Get you live in person. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for your career, what you're doing to help the lives of fellow persons who stutter like you and me. Appreciate it.
Yes, so thank you very much, Giada, for this possibility to be with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And for those of you listening in today, if you have a question or topic you'd like us to cover, just get in touch with us on our website. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe, follow, and rate our STARS podcast, STARS Speak, Understanding the Science of Stuttering. Will help us reach more listeners and grow awareness around stuttering research. And if you're a healthcare professional and want to learn more about stuttering and how to help your patients, please take advantage of our free CME credits, which are applicable to any healthcare professional, including speech language pathology, especially. So please take a look at our website, and we're thankful for our joint sponsorship with St. Louis University School of Medicine. I thank you all for listening. Thank you to our good friend, Dr. Pierpaolo Busan. Thank you for joining us today. And all of you, we'll see you next time on our podcast, STARS Speak. Thank you very much.